Well, one of the things that, everybody who's been watching the series has been talking about is the hot, steamy sex scenes. I have to know, my gosh, how do you mentally prepare to, especially Damien was into a lot. How do you mentally prepare?
A whole lot. It made me look like the thought of the year, and it was a whole lot. But this is what I say. Everything starts with the conversation. It all starts with the conversation. I literally, whoever I'm having a sex scene or whoever the situation is kind of going down with, starts with the conversation. What do you like? What don't you like? What boundaries don't you want to cross? Are you single? If you aren't single, does your boyfriend, is he okay with me touching you this way or that way or so on and so forth? Because at that point, I just want to, we're both artists, and I want that to be clearly projected throughout the story that we're telling. I want it to be artistry. And I want it to be, extremely, the chemistry to be absolutely amazing. I had great chemistry with everyone simply because we literally had a conversation. It always starts with a conversation. And then after that, you kind of know what to do and what not to do. And when the camera comes on, everything just kind of happens. I know a lot of people asked about us actually, having sex on set, but that never ever happen, just in case we're going to ask that question at some other time.
Oh, of course people are going to think that, but that would be considered pornography, and of course they couldn't show that on, public forums. That's very intriguing how you say that you had conversations, because I would have assumed that it would have been something, the directors and the, people behind the camera would have initiated amongst the cast. Well,
the thing is, I took it upon myself to have conversations with them as well too, because I wanted them to know that I'm extremely serious about the craft, and I didn't want to do anything or put anything out there that I would actually regret or feel some type of way about that would hinder me from growing within the cinematic world. I didn't want that to happen, because one day I have every expectation. I'm going to do exactly what I need to do in order for me to get an Emmy or an Oscar or a Golden Globe, or what I feel like I have to get one, or at least be recognized or nominated amongst great people who've done so many great things and who've been either awarded for it or recognized for such things. And for this to be not only a gay role, but to be, practically nude and to have such steamy sex scenes for my first project to be broadcasted out there for the public to see it kind of raises, a few red flags. So, of course, I brought that to their attention. And then after that, we had, deep conversations about, the sex scenes and so on and so forth with my castmates. And I just think that was quite beneficial. It definitely helped us to do better and to really make it happen.
It seems so. Because I could say that, the chemistry just seemed flawless throughout, no matter, what scene it was or what episode.
Thank you.
Absolutely. I could tell there was, real acting going on. With that said, there's always some chatter in the community about web series that come out that tells the story of Black gay men in particular, that say, oh, why does there have to be so much sex to sell the story or to, tell our story? What would you say to a commentary like that?
First of all, we're human. You cannot look at one human today and, automatically think that person has just not had sex. That's number one. Number two, we're gay men. Men are visual creatures. So what happens is when we see something, we want it or we envision us having it. And I just think that people tend to forget that we have sex. I think that it's more what bothers me. I was actually reading an article about this not too long ago. What bothers me is that the public is so okay and more progressive and towards violence being publicized and towards like fights or shootings and killings and so on and so forth being on television, or drug dealing happening on television and everything, and they're okay with that. But when it's a sex scene or when it's anything that's intimate or of that caliber, it begins to be a situation. It's like taboo, like, oh my God, this is too much for me, when in fact you was just busting it open for a stack the other day. So I just think that it's, it just it kind of in a way pisses me off that society puts so much emphasis on how things shouldn't be, publicized and everything, but the general public has sex. Like, we all have sex. Like, it happens, and for someone to put it on camera, I think that it's brave, and I think that it's admirable, because the thing is, it's daring, and that's the one of the many things that made the show so successful, is that we decided to go out there and really put it out there that it's happening. Like, people have sex. Like, it's a reality. It's a reality.
I agree, and I mean, I also too love it how you eloquently put that in, because I know I've asked that question before with, people, and some people really sound angry when they respond to it, but I mean, like you say, I mean, this is what we do, this is a part of our lives, and I also agree with your point of the selective conservatism. It's just, okay,
right,
well,
exactly.
Violence is okay, and,
right.
Ruining your community is okay, but just, intimacy and love and sex is, someone off-putting. It's a bit hypocritical. But, yeah, I mean, I totally agree with you.
I just think that it's extremely, I just want to say one more thing and then we can stop, because I can go on and on about this subject, but I just think that it's so stupid for people to put so much emphasis on what's being shown on television when, in fact, it's so much going on in the world. Like, Donald Trump is our president, and you're worried about, like, you're worried about people having sex on camera. I just don't really understand. I just feel like people have their priorities messed up, and if you don't want to see it, don't watch it. You know what I'm saying? But people will sit here and watch it only to make negative comments after it, and I just think that that's one of the dumbest things. It's like you're wasting your time to, not only watch it in its entirety, but give us views and give us disrespect at the same time.
It's counterproductive. I mean, counterproductive for oneself, and then counterproductive if they really are genuinely are trying to make an assertion about how it impacts the community. I totally get that.
Right. We hear each other. We hear. I can appreciate that.
Because also I feel like, because one, I understand the sentiment, period. Yeah, it seems like every web series is, puts sex on the forefront. But I made the argument about him in particular, if the sex part was necessary. Because who wasn't 18, 19, 20 years old in their transition and was trying to figure out, because like with Damien confused sex with love. Damien confused sex with, attraction and friendship. I know many of us who between the ages of 18 and even now, some people still do it in their 30s and 40s, confuse sex with love, confuse sex with friendship, confuse sex with, their feelings. And when you have this story that is this coming of age, why not put that in there? Otherwise, it kind of tells the story, but takes out a vital part, and it almost becomes a non-story in a way. But, yeah.